Another beautiful day in Seattle, Washington. And speaking of beautiful, that's how things have gone for the Rockies of late. They have won by the score of 5-1 yesterday and 7-1 on Friday. They've outscored the Mariners 12-2 if you do the math. And the Rockies looking to go 4 games north of 500, and we are set for baseball. The Rockies once again are going to see a left-hander. Wade LeBlanc is going to be on the mound today for Seattle. He's been a good story. We'll develop that more in a moment, but let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for the Rockies. Up top, DJ, Charlie, and Nolan Arenado, 1 through 3. Then Trevor Story, as Taylor told you, back in there with a 282 average and among the league leaders in RBIs and a number of offensive stats. Ian Desmond, Carlos Gonzalez had a big weekend so far. He'll bat 6. Chris Iannetta, Gerardo Parra swinging it well. And the star from yesterday, batting 9th once again, is Noel Cuevas. Wade LeBlanc's a 33-year-old, and to say he's well-traveled would not really do his frequent flyer miles justice. He's played for 7 big league teams, and he's also played in Japan.
Yeah, for the Cebu Lions, but since he's returned to the major leagues, he's 13-2 with the 379. A lot different than what we saw yesterday from James Paxton as far as the velocity on his fastball. He'll also throw a cutter, changeup, curveball. The thing, just kind of diving into the notes, he'll throw more fastballs when he pitches at home than he does out on the road. I think it has something to do with this ballpark, the heavier air most of the time. I think today, though, it's not going to play with the dome open or the roof open and warmer temperature.
Yeah, 72 degrees, which, by Seattle standards is a fairly warm day. That's caught in foul territory by Ryan Healy. So DJ LeMahieu is retired, and that'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. We'll glance now at the Mariners defense. D. Gordon pinch hit yesterday. He had a little hip injury from Friday night, but he's back in the starting lineup at second base. David Freitas, once again is doing the catching. Denard Span did not start yesterday. We saw him in a pinch hitting capacity also. He's in left field for Scott Services Club. So 1 out, and here's Charlie. Charlie couldn't wait to get to the ballpark, I'm sure, today as he takes strike 1. Yesterday was a day that Charlie doesn't experience very frequently. 0 for 5, and for just the second time in his career, 4 strikeouts.
Well, the last time he did that was 2013 against San Francisco. He didn't have a chance to talk to him because sometimes you don't like to go up to guys after they had one of those type of games. Even though the ball club won, Charlie's happy about that. That's the bottom line. But you don't want to say, hey, what was wrong yesterday? What didn't you pick up the ball? What was it? Because it just looked like every single swing was defensive yesterday.
I mean, you're talking about one of the elite hitters in the game, and I would venture to say that he just was not picking up. It's pretty clear he wasn't picking up James Paxton. 3-1. Because you said it yesterday, Jeff, in that I think it was his 3rd at bat. It looked like he was in an 0-2 count from the start of the at bat.
Yeah, all of the swings look like that, just trying to foul something off.
Well, he's in a favorable count here. 3-1 against LeBlanc. And a good swing there.
Yep.
3-2.
I've got a pitch kind of away from him a little bit.
Check this out.
It'll be a different day for Charlie, though.
I think it's going to be a different day for everybody up top. Yesterday, DJ, Charlie, and Nolan did not have a hit. It's the only time this year that they've all been hitless in the same game. And this ball's in the air to fairly deep right center field, way back, and this is a good way to begin a new day. Charlie Blackmon, as he did Friday night, with a home run in the top of the 1st inning. Number 17 for Blackmon. That will help erase some of the memories of yesterday.
Yes, it will. Just the 3rd home run given up to a left-hander this year by Wade LeBlanc, but it is the 12th run he's allowed in his 13 starts in the 1st inning. A 3-2 pitch, and he did not disappoint with that swing. Subaru Supermo, foot gets down, and then the hands just power that baseball through, gets the lower portion of his body, the legs into it. Good start for the Rockies, and great start for Charlie. Gerardo, of course, giving him the hugs at the end of the receiving line.
That's the way it works. So here's Nolan. He takes a strike, according to Joe West, 1-1. That home run for Blackmon, the 128th of his career, ties Matt Holliday on the all-time Rockies list. They're tied for 9th. Nolan's just 2 away from the big cat. That's popped up right field line, leaking toward the crowd, fortunately, and out of play. So the only other time that Charlie hits one out and you take another view of it, that those three had more at-bats without a hit was April of last year. They were 0 for 17 in a ball game down in Phoenix. It just doesn't happen.
No.
The first 4 in the lineup yesterday, 1 for 22, and all of the strikeouts, there were 11 strikeouts in the game, they owned them all.
The only one that had any sort of fun yesterday on the hitting side was Desi, who's 1 for 4.
The bottom of the lineup did more than their share. They picked everybody up. Bottom of the lineup was 9 for 14 with a walk and a sac fly. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Nolan to run in on the 17th home run for Chuck Nasty. This will be a little comebacker, and LeBlanc will flip to first. And here comes Trevor Story after his first day off yesterday. And as Taylor told you, he had played in 139 straight, which was one of the longest streaks in baseball.
Well, it's good to see him back in there, because we were thinking maybe coming back today might be not a possibility, and this is after taking that hit by pitch on Friday night right off the top of the foot ankle area.
And in his next at bat, he had a leg hit, and I chatted with him about that today. He said, you know, it didn't bother me that much after, but when
Overnight.
he woke up yesterday morning, it had swollen up and was an issue. He had a couple hits on Friday night. Seems every ball game the last couple of months he's throwing out a couple of hits.
When you're thinking too, they might err on the side of being conservative with a day off tomorrow, give him an extra day, but this tells you that it's okay today. They wouldn't push him that hard.
Yeah, he's thrown out here to end the inning, but the Rockies get the quick jump on Wade LeBlanc and the Mariners. A big fly from Charlie Blackmon.
The Seattle Mariners, we know about that gem he threw in his last start against San Francisco. 7 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, 95 pitches. The Rockies Choose Go starting pitcher preview is brought to you by Econoco. And I just look at the bottom number, the changeup percentage. You see it at 3%, but actually as a starter, last start, it was about 13% of the time. So that number really jumped up between what he did as a reliever and what he's doing as a starter now with the changeup.
First pitch is in there to D. Gordon for a strike. He's got to shorten up in the infield when Gordon is at the plate, and he takes another fastball for a strike. 0-2.
Mariners rocking the old school unis today.
Is that the one you wore?
No, that's even before my time here.
Gordon slashes at that and hits it over the head of Scott Brocious at third.
I mean, that's like late 70s, early 80s with the stirrup socks.
Old time
Come
stirrups,
on.
yeah. Oh-2 slider, and that is softly hit in the left for a base hit for Gordon. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Scott's service this afternoon. Gene Segura, the Gene, the hitting machine, he'll bat second. Mitch Haniger, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager starting to swing it well. Denard Span's been very good in a Seattle uniform since moving from Tampa. Ryan Healy has 17 home runs. Guillermo Heredia and David Freitas, 1 through 9 for Seattle. So D. Gordon leading the American League with 22 stolen bases. Takes his lead off of first with Segura at the plate.
You know, I think with Segura too, is a lot like DJ when he was hitting second. He'll take some pitches. He can hit the ball to right field. We saw the home run yesterday. It's not a case where he's worried if he falls behind in the count.
He's unique in that you can hit him. He's kind of like Charlie. Doesn't quite have Charlie's power, but you know, you can hit him 1 through 3 in a lineup, and nobody's going to look at your lineup and say, "Why is he there?"
Well, then that allows D. Gordon to pick and choose when he wants to run, because he has the green light. There's no steal sign for him. So it's imperative for Antonio to use the slide steps, the holds, and get rid of the ball quickly.
Chris Iannetta doing the catching today. Tony Walters cut Gordon down on Friday. It actually went to review. Initially, it was called safe. This ball's well hit to center field. Cuevas going back, and he'll make the catch in front of the wall. And makes a really good throw to second in case Gordon had thoughts of tagging up.
Well, off the bat, thought that was going to be a little bit of trouble, because that's where Charlie hit his ball. Sounded loud. D. Gordon wasn't sure what he was going to have to do. But then Noel catches it, pushes off the wall, and then one hop strike back into second base, not allowing D. Gordon to advance.
You know, Gene Segura upset. He knows he hit it well. Good break by Noel Cuevas, getting a start in center field, just giving Charlie a day off with the legs. And you mentioned earlier about Story. If he didn't play today, he would have gotten 3 days off. Well, Charlie is going to get 2 days down in terms of having to utilize the legs other than running around the bases, and got to jog the first time, so that worked out nicely.
Well, isn't that what a DH is supposed to do? DH hits the ball over the wall, jogs around, then goes back and sits down, grab his bat, wait for his next at bat. And for Charlie, it's unusual because he's never been a DH before.
Probably getting antsy right now. 1 strike on Mitch Haniger. 273 average, 17 home runs, 62 driven in for Haniger. He's one of those guys that's uber talented, but he's always had some sort of injury.
Well, that's why Jerry DePota was happy to be able to get him in the trade, in the hopes that he could stay healthy.
Look out. So that will push Gordon to second. 2 on for Cruz. Tried to go in, got too far in.
Well, and he tried to, you know, with a quicker step, sometimes that arm doesn't have the opportunity to catch up to the rest of the body, and so he left it arm side on the Subaru Supermo, catches Haniger right on the elbow. Didn't appear either that he wears one of those elbow guards.
He may going forward, right?
Yes.
Rockies have kept Cruz quiet. He's 0 for 8 in the series. Rockies up 1-0, and with 1 out, a little bit of traffic now for the Mariners in the bottom of the first. Inside, ball 1.
Well, the Rockies in the first 2 games have turned 3 double plays. That would work out nicely now. And Antonio in his career over a 50% ground ball percentage.
On the outside corner for a strike.
Nelson Cruz with the 148 home runs, and some big names on that list with Nolan and Giancarlo Stanton. Chris Davis sneaking up on that list.
Two and 1. Senzatella brilliant against San Francisco. 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, didn't walk a batter, 4 strikeouts.
Well, the composure that he shows on the mound, not intimidated. 22nd start in his major league career today.
Gordon bouncing around a little bit. Senzatella command here in the first inning's off a little bit.
Well, I think it's off because of what D. Gordon has done at first base and now at second base, bouncing around. I think that's what's caused him to.
Well, as you said, when you slide step, it throws off sometimes your mechanics and the timing. Got to make a pitch here. 3 and 1. Ooh, he went right after him at 95, and
right in the heart of the Subaru strike zone.
Cruz at 38, but he can still get the barrel out there. He's hit 22 home runs. He's a dangerous guy.
It doesn't look like he has to cheat like some guys as they start to get older and later in their career. The Rockies got him, especially Kyle Freeland yesterday with the changeups.
Maybe a slider count, and it was, and that was fouled off. Senzatella earned his way back to the big leagues. He was terrific in 8 starts in Albuquerque. 3 and 1 with a 2.15 ERA. Here's another 3-2.
He went. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Chris just tagged him. Chris can't believe it. Joe West missed it at the plate. He checked with Mark Ripperger at first. Oh, and now the bases are loaded.
Chris is saying that was a foul tip.
It's not reviewable.
It's not. This might give us a closer look. Hard to tell on that angle. But Chris has immediately put the glove up like it fouled off. I'm showing you that I had that baseball.
So now the bases are loaded. Steve Foster's got to come out here in the first, and you have Kyle Seager at the plate. Seager 2 for 2 and 2 walks in yesterday's ball game. He's seen Senzatella before. Senzatella started last year at Safeco, lost 5-0, went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits, did strike out 7, walked a couple.
Let's see if we get this on the Subaru Supermo. It's still too hard to tell. I'm just going by the reaction of Chris where he holds up the glove and tried to show Joe West, I caught that ball, and then he said it was a foul tip. But as you said, Drew, it's not reviewable.
Outside, ball one. This is just unusual to see. It's been so long since any starting pitchers had any kind of jam to work out of, it seems like. One out, bases loaded here in the first for Senzatella. In the air to right. Cargo's going to get there. It'll score a run to tie up the game.
'54th RBI of the season for Seager.
Consecutive games with a starter allowing 2 or fewer runs all time. Well, the Rockies have matched their all-time mark. It was set in September of 2014, where they went 8 consecutive games of tremendous starting pitching. Another tough out, Denard Span. Span homered on Friday to break up the shutout against Herman. He flinched, did not swing. It's 1-0. Two outs, runners at first and second. Haniger's at second. Cruz is at first. 2-0.
Just hasn't found that release point yet.
Nope.
Just 2 of the first 6 batters he's faced as he's thrown a first pitch strike.
Interesting as that misses. One of the things that got Antonio to the big leagues quickly, and he had so many positive attributes and stellar numbers in his minor league career, but at the forefront of those was his ability to consistently throw strikes.
Yeah, I mean, he would pour strikes in there. It was, and a lot of it was the fastball command that he had.
Bases are full again. A 4-pitch walk to Span. And that brings up Ryan Healy. That's a hit batter and 2 walks in this first inning. Trying to get out of this without any further damage, and can make an adjustment.
But you got to worry now if you're Bud, because you're thinking Ryan Healy, I'm going to just swing for the fences on this very first pitch because I got to assume I'm going to get a fastball right down the middle.
Yeah, you're going to sell out dead red here, aren't you? Well, he got a fastball, but it's nowhere close to the zone. He pulled that way outside. You can just tell by his tempo that he's trying to figure it out.
And I know you like pitchers, at least I do, to pitch out of the stretch. You know, with the runner at third, it might be a case where just go to the windup, see if you can find something there.
On the inside corner for a strike, Joe West. Rather deliberate and indicating it was a strike. 1-1 ball game in the first, 2 outs. And the bases loaded for the Mariners. 1-1 on Ryan Healy.
Just south and outside of the Subaru strike zone. This is just, I mean, Never seen this from Antonio.
And a rocket into left center field. That will score at least 2. The trail runners span. He'll stop at third on a double by Healy. And it's 3-1 Seattle. You start eliminating everything if you're up at the plate. You know the bases are loaded. The pitcher's behind in the count. And he sat on that fastball, and he snapped an 0 for 12 at the plate.
Well, it makes easy hitting when you can eliminate a lot of those. You get back to just the basics of hitting. Look for a fastball and put a good swing on it. You know, when Antonio falling behind again, that's all he can do. He's got to try to come in, then you hope they hit it at somebody, but they have it, and now the Rockies trail 3-1.
Now Heredia at the plate. There's runners at second and third. Now he's trying to avoid a really big inning. Well, that stretch of 8 straight games by the starter, not allowing more than 2 earned runs, that dies here in the first inning. One on Heredia, and sharply hit, but it's right at DJ. So Seattle gets 3 in the inning. Senzatella struggled with control. He walked 2 and hit a batter. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Noel Cuevas, after hitting the 3-run home run last night to break up a 1-1 ball game in the 7th inning. Rockies now down 3-1. Bud Black immediately went over to Antonio Senzatella at the end of that half inning. Here's Ian Desmond against Wade LeBlanc, and strike 1. Desmond, Cargo, Chris Iannetta against LeBlanc, who has been a nice find for Seattle. He was with Seattle in 2016, so it's not like they didn't know him. He got released by the Yankees, actually asked for his release late in spring training by the Yankees.
He's never lost in a Mariners uniform.
Well, it's pretty amazing. He's 7-0 in 19 career starts. This is slowly hit to short. Segura is going to throw out Desmond. So in 20 now starts career-wise with the Mariners, he's never lost. There's only one American League pitcher in the live ball era who's had a longer such streak to begin a tenure with a single club, and that was Whitey Ford back with the Yankees in the early 50s, went 22 games without losing. In the National League, there's a guy who went 22 without losing. Here's Cargo. He takes a strike. And I'm thinking he may have been a teammate of yours. Did you overlap with Kirk Reeder in Montreal?
No, he was a couple years later.
Okay.
Yeah, I left in 90. He was there, I think, 92, 93 in that area.
Reeder went on to some very good years in San Francisco.
He did. Well, I think, too, with Wade LeBlanc, is he throws soft, kind of softer and softest. So if you're going to think I'm going to try to pull the ball against him, I know Charlie did, but that ball was up on a fastball. I think you got to look the other way against him, or it's going to be one of those days where you get a lot of ground ball rollovers.
It's quite a contrast on the left side to what they saw yesterday with Paxton throwing in the upper 90s.
Yeah, where you had to cheat on the fastball. You had to assume you were going to get it.
Good eye from Cargo, 2-2. Cargo swung it well on Friday, swung it well yesterday. Single and a double in both games. He's driven in runs in both games. 1 out, 2-2. And he got under it just a little bit. Catch made out there by Haniger. And that'll bring up Chris Iannetta with 2 gone in the second.
Well, For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch, and you want to keep the foot on the gas. The Rockies have never swept a series in Seattle. I know they trail 3-1, but it's just 3-1. They do have one road sweep this year. That was back in New York against the Mets, May 4th, 5th, and 6th. They beat the Metis.
Iannetta takes ball 1, 7 home runs, 21 driven in for Chris. And that's called strike.
In the same spot in the Subaru strike zone. One's called the ball, one's called the strike.
I like the second one better.
Well, yeah, but it was like almost right over the top. You can't even see the number 1 on the Subaru strike zone.
Maybe he felt like he missed the first one.
Well, and I think, I mean, looking at that strike zone, I think he did, but I'm just saying.
1-2 on Iannetta. 0 for 4 yesterday with 3 punch-outs. And he strikes out there looking. So a quick inning in the second for Wade LeBlanc. 3-1, the Rockies trailing as we go to the bottom of the second.
second, 3-1 Seattle here, and it is time now for your Centurylink high-speed challenge question of the day. All-stars will be announced tonight, and we want to know which Rocky not named Nolan Arenado, since we know he's going to get in, would you like to see in the 2018 All-Star Game? Is it Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, Adam Ottavino, or Kyle Freeland? Go to AT&T Sportsnet RMM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll show you those results during our post-game show and all throughout the game today. We're going to be telling you why these guys are deserving, and this is not us being homers, but these guys legitimately have numbers to go along with the fact that they should be all-stars. Drew?
Yeah, the Rockies have several worthy candidates. Senzatella has that first pitch by David Freitas fouled off. 9-1 and 2 for Seattle here in the second inning. For me, you know, there's no question that Adam Ottavino deserves to be there. He's a setup guy, so it's always a little more complex with those guys. He deserves to be there. Trevor, to me, is an absolute slam dunk. Lock. It's a no-brainer.
Lock.
Strike three on Freitas on the outside corner. So the first strikeout for Senzatella, and that'll bring up D. Gordon.
But you could also, as he had that list on there for Kyle Freeland, he's 8-6 with a 3.18 ERA.
I'm glad you brought that up, and partner, you brought it up again yesterday. I asked Buddy about it 2 starts ago for Freeland, and he said absolutely, he should be in the conversation. And I'm like you, that he's 9th overall in ERA in the National League. He has a 2.89 home ERA. If you're going to take it away, you better give it as well. And I think everybody at home understands what I'm saying. If you're going to say, well, yeah, so-and-so's offensive numbers are great, but he plays at Coors Field, then you owe it to the other side.
That's right.
1-1 on Gordon, 1-2.
I even heard somebody one time earlier this year say that Nolan's fielding percentage at third was a little higher because he played at Coors Field. And I'm like, what?
Who said that?
I forget. Somebody on a national show I was listening to. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, are you serious? How? Now you're going to ding somebody defensively because they play at Coors Field. I just shook my head.
I don't understand.
I blacked out for a minute once I heard that.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. That's idiotic.
Yeah.
Two outs, and that'll bring up Gene Segura, who was an all-star back in 2013 when he wore the uniform, a similar looking uniform, but it had an M on the cap. Milwaukee Brewers M. Here's the 0-1, and that's a high fly ball out of play down the right field line. Always hustling is Ian Desmond, who went over to take a look. To third. Well, that trip in Seattle, that's a piece of cake for Nolan. Comes so comfortably at him on the surface. 3-1. the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Más at Taco Bell. Rockies will have Gerardo Parra, Noel Cuevas, and DJ LeMahieu to face Wade LeBlanc here in inning number 3. Rockies trail 3-1. Charlie Blackmon, a home run in the first. Speaking of, worthy all-star candidates, I think we've been spoiled by Charlie. This ball is pretty well hit to left field. Going back is Span to the track to make the catch. And Charlie had such a ridiculously good year last year that you forget 17 home runs and 40 ribbies from a guy who hits up top and a near 280 average.
Well, you
pretty good stuff.
Yeah, you compare him to a lot of the other outfielders in the National League, and his numbers are certainly up there.
Now, one of those spots will go to Bryce Harper. And Bryce, other than the home run total, has really not had a good first half. There's Chuck. I wonder if some of the pressure of the fact that he's in a contract year, Cuevas behind 0-2, has affected him at all.
I think there's something to be said, and even today or yesterday I was reading on MLB.com talking about, is it possible that they trade Bryce Harper? I mean, he's hitting just 219, 21 home runs, 50 RBI. I know that. I don't think it'll happen. I'm just saying they threw it out there.
This ball crushed to left by Cuevas, but it's going to turn foul. So happy for Noel yesterday, because his preparation day in and day out, he's very, very matured. Hard work paid off for him. This is flicked down the left field line, and it's going to go foul.
Well, his home run yesterday after the safety squeeze that he fouled off of James Paxton. Second home run, tied his set a career high in RBIs with 3.
Well, think about this, Huey. He drives in 3 yesterday, 3 huge ones. Tony Walters batting 9th on Friday drove in 3. So the Rockies have 6 ribbies out of the 9 spot in the lineup.
That's good managing is what it is.
Outstanding managing. 1-2. Foul tip. Be interesting the second time through how the Rockies, readjust to a guy who throws under the radar in LeBlanc, and then the changeup off of that, I put this in quotes, slow fastball.
Yeah, the soft tossing lefty. That name fits Wade LeBlanc. Right there.
Change up off of that.
And what he does too is he gives you that full wind-up motion. So many guys now are so accustomed to seeing where they hold the glove right by their chest, but he'll bring the glove way up over the top of his head, make it act like he's trying to get a lot behind it, and then throws you the 75-mile-an-hour changeup. Cuevas is way out in front on the Subaru Supermo.
I thought Jamie Moyer retired.
Yeah, exactly. I think LeBlanc might throw 2 or 3 miles an hour harder than Jamie when Jamie retired, but that's what you have to envision.
1 ball, 1 strike on DJ. He fouled out along the first base line his first time up.
Well, remember, Jamie was a pitcher here for the Mariners for quite a few years.
And he gets DJ out front. Easy play for Segura. That's 8 in a row retired by LeBlanc since the home run by Blackmon. Middle of 3. Mariners leading the Rockies 3-1.
more dingers than ever before. Enter the code ALLSTARDC to unlock exclusive All-Star gear at MLB.com/HRDGame.
Mitch Haniger at the plate. He takes a strike. Sensatella much better in the second inning. After giving up 3 in the first, he had a 1-2-3 second. Strikeout and a couple of weak ground balls.
I think the conversation he had with Bud after that first inning, because Antonio barely had a chance to go sit down and grab a cup of water and a towel, and Bud was right over there saying, okay, let's get back to what made you successful. That's throwing strikes. Get it back into the zone. Quit trying to nitpick as much.
You know what would have been interesting, and I thought you made an astute observation that first inning when D. Gordon got on. He was ahead of Gordon 1-2, and he kind of had a D. Gordon hit. Give him credit. Flicks a little line drive over Trevor Story's head. If he doesn't get on, is the inning turn out differently? Because he was bothered by his speed presence at first, clearly.
And even when he got to second, he was. So I think definitely. I think that first inning would have turned out different.
2-2, and that is strike 3 on Haniger. That is the Sensatella that we've come to know, that can dot that fastball. And he's done it twice now in the last 4 hitters. He did it to Freitas also.
That's right, and he hits him right on the corner, right where Chris is set up, splits the body, strike 3. He started Haniger off with the slider first pitch, then finished him off with the fastball.
One out, Nelson Cruz. He walked on from a Rockies perspective, somewhat controversial pitch and check swing. It was a 3-2 pitch, and it's close whether he check swung or not. And according to Chris Iannetta, he thought the ball ticked his bat and he held the pitch. So Chris was arguing that it should have been a foul tip strikeout. They did check at first to see if he had swung. Mark Rippiger felt he did not. So that loaded the bases. Mariners scored 3 on just 2 hits, and now he falls behind Cruz 3-0.
I'm assuming he'll have the green light to swing 3-0. Good thing you put that pitch on the outside corner on the Subaru strike zone, because Scott's going to let the veteran swing away.
Ground ball to Desi, the only guy on that right side. Comes up with it, 2 outs. Kyle Seager will approach. Folks, join in on the conversation. Send us your questions, your thoughts, your pictures. Use Twitter and include the hashtag Toyota Talk. We talked about it all weekend. There are a lot of Rockies fans up here in Seattle enjoying this beautiful city and what has been beautiful baseball from the Rockies' perspective. Seager, a sac fly to right field to get the Mariners on the board. That was eventually followed up by Ryan Healy's 2-run double. Seager's got 15 RBIs in 16 career games against the Rockies.
Oh, it's starting to heat up too for Seattle. Last 11 ball games, hitting .368.
And a weak ground ball to Trevor. And another really good inning. 7 in a row now, set down by Sensatella. Rockies trying to figure out Wade LeBlanc. leaping catch out there by Charlie Blackmon. He had it the whole way. Take a good look. You won't see it from home. Charlie Blackmon, home run number 14.
There you go, making a case for Charlie Blackmon. He's third in hits and total bases in the National League amongst outfielders, and second in home runs among outfielders. We saw him go yard today. So a reminder that Charlie Blackmon should be in the All-Star game, but the official rosters will be announced tonight. Drew?
Yeah, now he just moved up to 17 home runs. And again, Charlie has set the bar so high.
Yeah, you kind of,
because he, until the last, yesterday was a rough day, but Friday he swung it well with 3 hits. Obviously, he's off to a great start in this ball game. Charlie's numbers are really, really good. 99% of the baseball population would love those numbers.
Yes,
That's going to end up in the upper deck foul. And you forget.
Yeah.
And that's that's when you truly become a big star.
Yeah, and that's why it was neat for Taylor to kind of put those numbers together and say, hey, this is where he ranks with the rest of the outfielders.
I don't think his brethren have forgotten.
No.
This guy's a terrific, terrific player. 22 interleague home runs now for Charlie. And this ball is hit to fairly deep center field. This one's going to stay in the ballpark. Heredia is out there. 1 out. Nolan coming up. Taylor, where exactly are you now? I understand you've moved around a little bit.
Yeah, we're up here in left field on the third deck. You can see behind me the Olympic Mountains. I just had to come up here and check out these views. As you know, Safeco has some amazing views of the city and the mountain ranges around it. It's really beautiful up here. So I had the chance to watch Charlie just bat and check out some of the Olympic Mountains.
That's lined to right center. I have to tell you, when we were driving in this morning, Taylor, on the bus, at one point we came over the crest of a hill and you had a great look for a moment at Mount Rainier. Talk about majestic and intimidating.
Yes. Oh yeah. Carlos Gonzalez looks out and says, wow, this place is sick.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was funny. 2 outs, Trevor Story at the plate.
Dougie's going to spend his off day here tomorrow kind of hiking around part of it. Now, it's 100 miles around, basically. He's only going about 10 of it.
Well, Doug loves to hike, and a lot of times we tell him to take a hike, but that's different from what he likes to do as an avocation.
On an actual day off.
You are able to differentiate between the two, right? Sometimes. And Trevor fouls this off 1-1. So Dougie's going to hike up. He's going to jog up Mount Rainier in snowshoes. I had some friends in town over the weekend.
Yeah.
I say in town like this is my town, but you know they were in Seattle.
They were here in Seattle with you.
Right. Okay. And you know them well, the Keating family.
Yeah,
Kevin came out with a terrific book on baseball. That's outside 2-1. And they took their 2 boys to Mount Rainier, and they were having a snowball fight.
Yeah, of course.
Ton of snow up there. On Trev. That's the right approach. People are going to say, what are you talking about? You know what I'm, Jeff, that is the right approach. He's letting the ball get deep.
That's
so
right.
that beat him there, but that philosophy I think will hopefully pay dividends for him.
Better to be able to hit Wade LeBlanc that way.
3-2.
Because I just don't think his fastball is going to intimidate you. It's his changeup. It's a big curveball that you get some swings that look a little foolish on.
3-2. And this is down the third base line. Seager falls and is never going to throw out Trevor. And Trevor's running about 85% right now. But Seager lost his spikes in the dirt. It's a base hit for Story.
He lost his spikes because they're not spikes. They're the molded, the rubber shoes.
How do you play on the dirt?
I have no idea. Well, this is what you get sometimes, though. When you don't wear spikes, your feet are going to slip out from underneath you. Well, he made a good play just getting over there, but then when he went to plant, It's backside and then try to throw out Trevor, but it's base hit for Trevor. Yeah, I mean, I get it as maybe
it's easier on the feet, but
yeah, but come game time, when you're in the dirt all the time, used to do that when you'd play on turf. You know, you play a lot of games on turf. You could wear those.
Desmond at the plate, 1-0, and Desi drives this ball to left field, but it's playable out there for Span. Got it just off the barrel enough. So the Rockies leave one aboard, middle of 4, 3-1 Seattle. And we'll give you the ballpark version. This is a live shot. It's kind of ominous, isn't it?
Yes. It's fun when you fly in here and you get to see that looking out of the window.
There are times where literally the plane is flying right, it seems like right next to Mount Rainier. You almost reach out the window and touch it, but it's not advisable to have the window down when you're on a plane.
No.
Mount Rainier,
14 draft.
Yeah, 14,441 feet. 2-0 on Denard Span. Bottom of the 4th, 3-1 Seattle. And Span hits this pretty well to right center field. Cargo is fielded off the wall, and Span headed to third. And did he come off the bag? Nope.
It's going to be a triple for Denard, and I think Cargo, you know, he kept running after this, and he had to run such a long way for it. I think he thought he was going to run out of real estate. But a 2-0 fastball that Denard Span hit a home run the other night, takes us in the right center field towards the 390 mark, and that's short off Sewell in the close play at third on the Subaru Supermo. He keeps that toe hold. Yeah, he stayed on the bag.
Strike one on Ryan Healy. Rockies already down a couple of runs. They come in to what you call
three depth,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to completely concede, you know, a little blooper. But I do want to have a little more range. And a lot of clubs, too, with nobody out, they're not going to run on contact. With one out, they'll run on contact. So if you play back 2 or 3 steps, you saying, well, if you start to go, I can come get the ball and throw you out at the plate.
Sharply hit, and Trevor is still going to get an out.
But see, that's what happens because he was playing at the 3 depth. If he's playing in, I don't think he makes that play. And remember what I was saying a moment ago, Denard Span, clubs aren't going to run on contact with nobody out. So Denard Span didn't run. This ball's hit hard. Trevor kind of slows it down, pops right up, and then the strong throw to get Healy at first. Now, with 1 out, you play the infield in.
But even with that, with Trevor's arm, see if he bounces back just a couple of steps off the grass. I know you don't want the lip, and these fields are so well manicured, there's not really much of a lip. Here's that play again. It's kind of an all or nothing deal for Story.
And I like how he dropped to his knee so you could get on the same eye level with that baseball.
One ball, 1 strike. Guillermo Heredia was diving.
Yeah, that'll keep you from diving. You buzz the tower.
But you know what I mean? With Story's arm strength, you can get a couple more feet of range.
You can, and some guys will do it, but I think if you stay back and then walk into it, you do eliminate the lip. And I know the fields are manicured, but you don't want that last hop being a question mark. Okay, where is it? Is it going to hit that lip? I want to be confident that I know where the ball is going to bounce as I'm getting ready to field it with a runner on third. So Trevor will walk into this, so he ends up right in line with the grass.
This has popped up. Shallow center. Story, can he get there? DJ's there. Span's not going to be able to score. Now there's 2 outs. And now you have a realistic shot at getting out of this without the run scoring. David Freitas coming up.
Yeah, both you and I think, were expecting Trevor to catch that, or maybe even the way it looked with Noel coming in. The last option to me was DJ going after that ball, but his
on the left
angle,
field side of second.
But his angle was just a little bit better to go at it directionally instead of Trevor trying to catch it over his shoulder.
Freitas struck out his first time. Takes ball 1. You almost saw him, but we're thrilled the ball was caught. You almost saw a really unusual play. There was the potential that drops for a single and Span does not score.
Yes, that would have been a wild one. But I look at this too. You got to be Antonio. You lock this down. You don't allow a run off a leadoff triple.
Be a momentum swing.
Mm-hmm.
You're falling behind Freitas 2-0. Freitas, a light hitting backup catcher. He's hitting 207, 206, I should say. Mike Zunino, who's on the disabled list, excellent defensively, but he hasn't hit. Center field, and Cuevas is there. Leadoff triple from Span. He does not score. Job well done by Antonio Senzatella. Got some help from his shortstop, Story. 3-1 going to the 5th. Makes a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo customers get you 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. That's the gum wall, kind of become infamous here in Seattle. It's not too far from
the Pike Market.
Pike Street Market. But I've been by there. Have you ever put any gum on the wall is the question for you.
I personally have not. Walked by it the other day. The good news is they scrape that wall every 3 months. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
they do?
Yeah. So they scrape it, clean it up, and then immediately is filled back up. So I'd suggest, Drew, if you go by there again, don't just take a piece off there like it was underneath the desk at school.
I did that when I wore a younger man's shoe. It's unsanitary.
Yeah, it's not good.
Cargo had a high fly ball to right his first time. And that is
the right idea, though.
Yeah. He's trying to let the ball travel also. He's behind 0-2 to LeBlanc. LeBlanc has done his thing. He's been a really nice surprise for Scott Service this year. 4-0, 3.19 ERA. Working out of the pen initially. Today's his 13th start.
Well, in Seattle, in his 12 previous starts, are 9-3.
And the 20 starts overall that he's made in a Mariners uniform, they are 16-4. Oh-2. And Cargo drives this ball to deep right field, and this one's going to get out, and the Rockies are within a run. Home run number 8 for Cargo. He just missed hitting one his first time up, stayed back and clubbed that one. And for Cargo, his 3rd career home run against LeBlanc. His first 2, get this folks, came in 2010 against him.
That was a sight right there. Subaru Supermo, love the direction that body's traveling. And then the high fall through. Oh, this was a changeup, because that first pitch he missed, Drew, the one he hit out to right field in the second inning, that was a curveball. This was a changeup.
Cargo's driven in a run in each of the 3 ball games here in Seattle, but that continues a trend for Cargo. He's always performed exceptionally well against the American League. This is toward the hole. Seager cuts it off, and he throws out Chris Iannetta.
For Cargo's also hit now in 6 straight ball games. And the Rockies are just down by a run after what Antonio did in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Remember we said that could be a momentum swing?
Yeah.
Leadoff triple, that's going to score 80% of the time. Parra hit the ball to deep left his first time up. Span had to go to the middle of the track to make the play. 3-2 Seattle, both teams with 3 hits. Rockies 2 solo home runs, Blackman and Cargo. Rockies winners of 5 straight, 8 of their last 9.
3 straight series wins against teams above 500.
This is toward the middle of the diamond. D. Gordon, that's a good play. Was he bobbling still? Nope. Healy secured the baseball for Mark Rippiger at first. D. Gordon was doing a nice job at center field, but this is where he's really special defensively, second base.
He really found his home here after the trade with the Dodgers, where he was playing shortstop, went down to Miami, worked with Perry Hill down there. I know he gives a lot of credit to Perry and his development as a second baseman.
Cuevas outside. Noel put up a pretty good battle his first time, then chased a changeup out of the zone. Had a couple of loud foul balls. 1-1.
thinking man's guy where he knows what he did in that first at bat. Look for him to make the adjustment on the second one.
Cuevas, not just a 3-run home run yesterday. Remember, he had the bunt that he got down with runners at first and second and turned into a bunt single. It was such a perfectly executed bunt. And he had another base hit. So he was 3 for 4 yesterday. 1-2 here.
Just look at everything on the Subaru strike zone, where it's down, it's away from the right-handers. LeBlanc loves his arm side with his pitches. He doesn't come in glove side.
There's a changeup off the fastball, so it's 85 to 75. It's a big difference. Wade LeBlanc is out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. He was a very celebrated high school pitcher in Louisiana. Went to the University of Alabama, and he had immediate success. In fact, he was a freshman All-American at Alabama.
He was a second-round draft pick by the Padres. 2006.
Show inside with the fastball. 3-2. So again, Cuevas in a pretty good tussle here with LeBlanc.
He's not going to come in again, though.
Probably soft away, right?
Yeah.
That's what he did. He struck him out.
That's not even close.
That was off the plate. Cuevas going to ask Joe West politely where that was. Home run from Cargo, 3-2.
All-Stars, and we're going to talk now about Adam Ottavino. He's been so good all season. 1.58 average against is second best only to Josh Hader, and he has 63 strikeouts. That's tied for second most in the National League. Can't forget too, that was also, he was on the disabled list, so he missed some games as well. But I think what speaks the highest about Adam Ottavino, I would be willing to bet you go to most guys in Major League Baseball, who do you not want to face right now, and they're going to say Adam. Drew?
Yeah, there's two guys that have really stood out in setup roles this year in the National League in particular. Josh Hader, without question, for Milwaukee, and Adam Ottavino for the Rockies.
Those are the two guys that everybody, where no matter where we go, those are the two names that are kind of joined together. One lefty and Josh Hader, the right-hander Adam Ottavino. So yeah, you can make a case that he deserves to be. It's a little different though with the relievers. You know, what's going to happen? How do they get picked? We'll find out later on today.
The players and the coaches vote for 8 position starters.
Yes.
And they vote for 5 starting pitchers and 5 relievers. Here's something else to keep in mind with the reveal of the team later on today, and it'll be a lot of fun, is that there's going to be a couple of starting pitchers that make the team that start on Sunday, and they'll still have all-star status, but they will be replaced on the roster. It's 3-0 on Segura.
Which is good. That's the way it should be.
Right.
You're still an all-star, but you take somebody else that can pitch that day.
And there's always somebody that gets nicked up a little bit and will not participate in the game, and so, you know, another position player or two typically gets added. So it's going to be fun tonight to learn, or late this afternoon, because we're way out west, to learn who's going from the Rockies and who's going from other teams. Here's the 3-1 to Segura, and he hits this ball in the air to Cuevas in center. Noel makes the catch, 2 outs.
I was going to say, the players know. They've already been told who is going. They have a little inside information. Now there's an embargo as far as
the media is not allowed to divulge.
Yes. And but honestly, we don't know. So we can't say, oh yeah, we're going to give you a scoop.
Nope.
We get in big trouble.
2 outs and Mitch Haniger at the plate. We learned like everybody else. It's like you, Huey. You always want to eat before everybody else. Wait till everybody sits down at the table. You can wait.
What is the rule? If there's more than 6 people, you have to wait? Is that?
Or you don't have to wait?
Oh, you don't have to wait. That's right. So that's why I was going in a big group.
I'll give you a little. 1-1 on Haniger with 2 outs. And a ground ball to short. Story's got it. And a strong inning once again for Senzatella. Turned into a pitcher's duel after the first. 3-2 going to the 6th. Rockies down a run. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. No shortage of great cuisine, especially if you like seafood like Jeff and I do here in Seattle. DJ LeMahieu is going to lead things off, and it's Blackman and Arenado, the top of the Rockies order here in the top of the 6th inning against Wade LeBlanc. So my wife has been able to help me out in innumerable ways. One of the ways, though, because we were talking about etiquette, if you have, what is it, more than six people, you said you don't have to wait for everybody else, which I know you love. I'll let you do. 0-1. I'm going to get to the point of the story here in a second. This is sliced to first, and a sliding catch made there by Healy. So with 1 out, Charlie will come up. Anyhow, so you're at the table, and you know fine china's all set out, and there's the bread plate, and there's the glass, and there's the wine glass, right?
Yeah.
Are you ever perplexed, like everybody else, which is my bread plate, which is my glass when you sit down?
Only if there's like 3 or 4 out there.
Well,
I mean, it's usually to the right for that, to the left for the bread plate.
Show me how to cheat.
Oh boy.
Oh, you're going to use this. I know you are. That's inside ball 1. Ready?
Yes.
Under the table, because if you do this out front, you're going to look a little strange.
Okay.
All right.
What do you got?
Gotta wait for one more pitch. This story's going to take like 4 innings.
Right. Let's get through this.
There's a strike.
Charlie's
okay. So if they come on camera, I'm talking to my director, Erica, right now. She's not coming. Now, you came on camera. You go like this, right? But do it under the table, right? That is a B. That is a D, right?
Yeah.
D for drink, so that's on your right. B for bread, so your bread plate is on your left. So you don't steal somebody else's glass or somebody else's bread plate.
Perfect.
But don't do it out front. People look at you like you're really strange. This is popped up and playable in foul ground. Wow, that almost dropped.
I don't think Kyle Seager was having a whole lot of fun with that in the sun. Because that is a third baseman ball. You don't want that catcher to be running that far. You're lucky that Freitas was able to corral that. Unlucky for Charlie.
2 outs, Nolan coming up. A comebacker and a line drive to right.
Okay, can I say Nolan's due?
He is due. He's had 1 hit in the series. Remember, he came into this series 4 for 40 against the Mariners.
So 1 for 11 in the series.
And that is going to drop.
See?
For a second, I thought he hit it so hard it was going to hang up and Heredia was going to have a play. That'll bring up Story, who had an infield hit his last time up. 4th hit for the Rockies. Chasen Bradford has gotten up for Seattle. Interesting, because Wade LeBlanc's only 77 pitches in, and he's pitching really well. He's coming off a strong performance in his last outing. He beat the Angels 7 innings, allowed just 1 run on 3 hits, threw 95 pitches in that ball game. This is in the air to deep right field, and it is gone. Just snuck over the wall, and the Rockies take the lead. Trevor Story, 2-run opposite field shot. 3rd home run of the day for the Rockies.
He's just making his case stronger.
Remember, we were talking about his approach last time, that he was letting the ball get deep. He swung and missed on the pitch we were talking about, but it was only because he was letting it travel.
Well, in this ballpark, it's hard to tell sometimes when a ball is hit if it's going to be out. And Haniger keeps going back thinking he's going to have an opportunity at Trevor. 17th home run, 62 RBIs. But what I was saying is just making his case a little stronger for that All-Star game. Gorgeous looking swing on the Subaru Supermo.
This ball's hit well to center field by Ian, and the catch is made right at the base of the wall by the center fielder Guillermo Heredia. Nobody could catch the one Story hit a moment ago, and now the Rockies are in front 4-3, middle of 6. Comes up with it. There's one. There's two. What a play by Story.
Trevor Story to left field, and we are going to fire up the fountains for the second time at Coors Field tonight.
All of that to go along with the 2-run opposite homer we just witnessed. That was Trevor's 17th home run on the season. He leads National League shortstops in home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage, and extra base hits, plus the defense we just showed you when I was talking to Carlos Gonzalez about why Trevor deserves to be in the All-Star game. He says the offensive numbers are fantastic, but people forget about how good defensively he is. And Cargo said, plus the amount of hard work Trevor puts in and day out. He said he's an All-Star in my book. True.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, if you're going to have an All-Star game this year, Trevor Story needs to be involved. He's given the Rockies a 4-3 lead with the opposite field shot that Taylor was describing, his 17th of the year. And off the bat, you knew he hit it well, but he's so strong that it climbed out of the ballpark. I think it surprised both of us.
Well, it got me. I knew he hit it well, but then just watching Haniger in right field, and I said that at times this ballpark can play pretty large. But it's just fine for the Rockies right now.
1-2, and the check swing from Nelson Cruz, 2-2. Cruz a walk in the first, and he hit a 2-hopper to Desmond, his next at bat in the third. After a rough first inning, Centurylink has been outstanding. He's allowed one hit. That was a leadoff triple by Span in the fourth, and he didn't allow him to score. I think Senza thought he had the strikeout, but that was clearly inside.
You don't want to do that to Joe West.
Three runs on 3 hits for the Mariners. And again, he held up. So a leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Kyle Seager.
James Pazos, the left-hander for the Mariners, up. I think the Rockies are going to get some,
probably get some action themselves now
after that leadoff walk.
Yep.
Especially being ahead in the count too.
Seager sac fly and a ground ball to Trevor Story, who's positioned on the right side again. There's strike one. So check this out. Trevor Story in batting practice. This goes back about a week and a half ago. Here's Ron Gideon, Rockies outfield instructor. Well, there's Dwayne Espy sitting next to Tony Walters, and this is going to be a tough play. It's in the center field for a base hit. So Seager with a base hit. Now you have 2 on and nobody out. So Dwayne Espy told me the other day that at the end of batting practice a couple weeks ago, Story hits a ball out. It was like that ball he just hit out. It just got over the wall. And Trevor is really strong. We were used to seeing him in batting practice hit the ball 20, 30 rows up out on the concourse. And he got out and he grinned at Espy and he said, less is more. And what he meant was he's backed off where instead of a max swing every time, that's still a home run, right? Doesn't have to go 30 rows up, but what it's affected is his ability to make contact more frequently, and he's become, you know, a 280 plus hitter. And think of where he was in April.
Well, exactly, and then that's why if everything's max effort with your swing, you immediately tighten up when you go to swing. When you tighten up, you become stiff with your swing, and then there's nothing free flowing about it. You can't make the adjustment with your hands or your body positioning because you're already just locked into one plane. And I think that's been the difference for Trev.
Outside on Span. This is a sticky situation now. Senzatella trying to keep the Rockies in front 4-3. He walked Cruz on a 3-2 pitch. And Seager, the seeing eye, base hit. Span tripled in the fourth. He walked in the first. Pedestrian numbers in Tampa, outstanding numbers since the trade to Seattle. Good pitch. It's a changeup. 1-2.
He was settling out for the fastball like he got last time. And Antonio, that's a good sign because he didn't really have much of that early on. He had a little bit of the slider, but not the changeup. Two, doubled up on it.
So Span retired, and now out of the 7-hole comes Ryan Healy, the first baseman.
Well, next bike to the game is Sunday, July 15th, the last game before the All-Star break. Ride your bike to the game and check in at the tent by Gate E to win prizes, plus the first 200 bikers will receive sunglasses courtesy of UC Health.
Rockies have Jake McGee up. Healy a 2-run double in the first to snap an 0 for 12. And the slider's off the plate, ball 1. He was robbed of a hit on a terrific play by Trevor Story with the infield in. And Span at third. And Senzatella, after the leadoff Span triple in the fourth, got the next 3 guys and prevented Span from scoring. That's huge. 2-0. Trevor's been a factor virtually every game, offensively and defensively. He's been huge today in his return to the lineup after missing yesterday for the first time this year.
Trevor's last 31 games hitting .360 with 6 home runs, 23 RBIs.
And that was actually his first home run in 15 games, second longest stretch of his career. Good off-speed pitch, 2-1.
That was the curveball.
Breaking ball, and that is fair. It's a 3-run homer. Seattle back in front, 6-4. 18th home run for Ryan Healy.
5 RBI day. I didn't miss that one.
No, that was hammered.
Like he saw it right out of the hand. Chris wanted away. Watch where he has to kind of reach back for that, and that came in her third. It was supposed to be a curveball, but it was just a cement mixer that went up there just spinning.
Ready at the plate, he takes a strike. It's been a day of long balls. The Rockies with 3, and now the Mariners hit 1. field line. That's foul 1 and 2. As many runs as hits in this game. 6-4. Seattle, they have 5 hits. The Rockies have 5 hits. And 3 solo home runs for Colorado. Excuse me, 2 solo home runs and a 2-run homer. Story's home run, a 2-run shot last inning. Cargo and Blackman solo shots.
Well, part of the difference, though, is a little bit of the freebies for Seattle. Two walks have come around to score, and a hit by pitch has also come around to score.
Another 1-2 on Heredia. Ground ball to second. DJ fields it out front, 2 outs. Catcher David Freitas will come up, 0 for 2. Strikeout and a line out. Outside and high. Rockies in the 7th will have Cargo, Iannetta, and Para. Here's pitch number 101. And a broken bat roller. Desmond comes and gets it like a shortstop. Flips to Senzatella to end the inning. Walk, single, 3-run home run, Ryan Healy. Now the Rockies got to get going on offense again, down by 2.
One more all-star worthy player we need to tell you about, and that is Kyle Freeland. 3.18 ERA, which is 9th in the National League, but he has a 2.89 ERA at home, which he should get credit for. This guy has been the Rockies' most consistent starter all throughout this season. Buddy Black said it himself that he believes Major League Baseball should honor it, and he also did say that he believes they will. So this guy's super deserving, and hopefully he'll be making the trek up to Washington, D.C. next week. True.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier, if you're going to take away from the offensive players because of where they play, position players, you got to give extra credit to pitchers who have 2.89 home ERAs and 7 home starts, and overall he's 9th in the league in earned run average. Again, we'll learn about the All-Stars later today. Right now, the Rockies are trying to come from behind again. They're down 6-4. in the top of the 7th inning, and Cargo's going to see a new arm. Cargo a home run in the 5th inning against Wade LeBlanc, and now he's going to see another left-hander, James Pazos.
Pazos had an up and down year. 36 ball games for Pazos. Early on he was pretty good at 2.01 ERA for the first 30 games, then at an 11-game streak where it was a 12.38 ERA. Now it's back down again. 92 to 94 with the fastball for Pazos, and then a slider about 80, and that is it. 2-pitch mix.
Here's the 0-1. Pitch may have been in there, not called a strike by Joe West, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike, fortunately.
Well, that's where the next 2 innings are key. You got to get to the Mariners in the 7th or 8th, because Diaz in the 9th is
no fun.
No, not at all.
This is chopped over the mound. This could be a tough play. It came up on Segura, and he handled it. That took an odd hop, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And for Segura to make that play was not as easy as he made it look, because it wasn't a play where you come in and just kind of pick it on the short hop. So once it gets over the head of Pazos, now watch, you had to field that more around his mid thigh on the Subaru Supermo. See how that comes up? And sometimes those are the ones you fight hard and then you'll hit them right off the heel of your glove.
Here's Iannetta. Wade LeBlanc, 6 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts.
He went from the minus side to the plus side.
Good swing from Chris. 0-2. Rockies began the day in 3rd place in the NL West. They moved in front of San Francisco, 3.5 behind Arizona, 2.5 behind the Dodgers. Arizona scored a few runs yesterday.
What, 20? What was it, 20-5?
20-5, and Will Myers hit 3 home runs in that game for the Padres, and they still lose by 15. That's a good play by Segura. From his knees, he throws at Iannetta. Took a hit away from Chris, 2 outs.
Well, Segura has the arm, so he doesn't have to stand up. He could throw that from the knees all the way across the diamond. He's an underrated player. We've seen him so much with Arizona and Milwaukee. See him during spring training, but I just don't think he gets the credit that he deserves.
No. Part of the issue for him, a lot of players, Rockies players deal with this all the time, is that he's played in Milwaukee, he's played in Phoenix, now he's way up here in the Pacific Northwest.
So you're saying if there's no ball that's really played unless you're the Dodgers or maybe the Angels west of the Mississippi?
You know what cracks me up is when writers this time of year speculate on trades that could be made. It's almost as if there are 25 teams that are just acting as feeding grounds, partners for the other 5 teams, so they can make those 5 teams even better. That's the reason for their existence.
Right. So everything you see is Boston, New York.
All right. What trades?
LA.
The Dodgers. What trades will make those guys better?
Cubs.
0-2 on Parra. The Rockies also are trying to turn around. Remember a couple years ago they couldn't win on Sunday, just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
This year the Rockies are 3-10 on Sunday.
chance too to sweep.
Sweep a really good team on the road. Parra hitting .376 his last 27 games.
Remember, I was talking about you got to get to Seattle in the next couple innings, the 7th or 8th, because if they're leading after 8 innings, they're 49-0.
Well, their MVP we have not seen yet, and that is the guy you mentioned, Edwin Diaz. That's the MVP of this team. He's got 34 saves. And they have more one-run wins than any team in baseball. 26 of them.
Gerard is so animated. Everything he does. Yes. He already has the 10th on the franchise list for the Mariners in saves, and it's not even the All-Star break yet with the 34 that he has.
No swing. Parra trying to give Cuevas a chance here in the 7th. Another 2-2. Breaking ball, that's inside. Close.
Fun battle here.
Been a great battle.
Now go ahead and win it, Gerardo.
That is going to be pulled by Gordon, and he takes a hit from Parra. He's made 2 outstanding plays in this game. That is a hit probably 90+% of the time. first inning, and he was cruising until the 6th when he ran into a 3-run home run from Ryan Healy. So he gives up 6 in 6 innings of work. Wade LeBlanc threw 80 pitches. The Rockies hit 3 home runs off of Blackman, Cargo, and a 2-run shot from Trevor Story. But it's 6-4 right now, Seattle. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, Jake McGee will take over on the mound for the Rockies.
The bullpen in the last 16 games for the Rockies, a 3 ERA for Jake. Pitched last night, or Friday night. 1 inning, had 1 strikeout. Just 9 pitches needed to retire those 3 outs of the Mariners.
Top of the order, Gordon, Segura, and Haniger. Gordon is single in the first. He scored a run. A couple of ground outs since. Gordon, one of the guys to be part of the mass exodus out of Miami in the offseason.
They almost needed name tags when they went to spring training this year, did the Marlins. So many new guys they had.
Don Mattingly got pretty comfortable riding in Stanton and Osuna and Yelich into his lineup. But no longer the case. 1-1 on D. Gordon, and that is punched past a diving Nolan Arenado, and Gordon heading towards second. He'll have a double. And this throw goes into right field, and now Gordon's at third. That'll be a throwing error on Gerardo Parra. That's probably one where the left side of the infield's yelling, eat it, eat it, eat it, because you had no shot at getting Gordon.
Well, because it went off of Nolan's glove, too. So that slowed it down. It'll be the 14th double on the year for D. Gordon. And this is just what he does. He's just trying to hit the ball down on the ground, utilize his speed, and then Gerardo comes up spinning and throwing, and then he throws it high because he got in his head that, well, I got to get rid of it quickly because I know D. Gordon's in there. So that'll be the 3rd error of the year on Gerardo.
Field comes in to 3 depth, as Huey was explaining earlier, with Segura at the plate. 0 for 3. Deep fly ball to center. Ground ball to third and a fly ball to center. And that's outside, 2-0. This is popped up on the infield. LeMahieu territory.
That wasn't easy. That was not an easy fly ball, because I just like the positioning, though, of DJ. The way he turned his body, he quartered it. So meaning that so you can get a better look when that ball goes up into the sun. You use your glove to help also block out the sun.
Haniger slices that into the crowd. 0-1 on Haniger. Hit by a pitch in the first. Strikeout, ground ball to short. Jake jams him, and it's fouled off at 96. So good giddy up on the fastball.
Yeah, he does.
You're going to continue, though, to see Jake McGee throw that breaking ball more than at any point in his career. He just needs to, because he doesn't consistently have the mid-90s that he relied on when he was in Tampa.
Well, especially if he's pitching in multiple days.
Yep.
I think that's where you'll see a little less velo from Jake.
Big pitch here. The 0-2 to Haniger. Fastball blew him away at 97. That's great to see. That's the Tampa Jake McGee.
Well, as I said, he had a day off in between throwing on Friday, and he comes back and rips that fastball past Haniger, who's tied for second in the American League in RBIs, and intentional walk to Nelson Cruz to go left on left with Kyle Seager. Still going through the signs. He just walked out in front of home plate to give the guys an indication on where he wanted to throw it if Cruz takes off. To me, that's all a bluff. You just eat it. If he's going to try to steal a base, you just let him go, because I'm not going to try to throw down to second, because I think D. Gord will take off and try to steal home.
Yeah, if there was someone else at third, you wouldn't worry as much about throwing through, and even if he stopped. But Gordon is so sudden with that speed. There's a fastball off the plate called strike one at 95. 0-1 on Seager. Seager's hung in against lefties. In fact, he's hitting better against lefties than righties. 282 versus 215. And 0-2. Seager looking back to Joe West saying, aren't those off the plate?
Well, I don't mess around if I'm Jake. What do you do?
You go right to the same spot.
Right to the same spot.
Because even if it's not called a strike by Joe West, in your mind as a hitter, you're thinking that is a strike, because he's calling it a couple inches off the plate.
Exactly. That's why I don't mess around maybe with another pitch. Go out there again.
0-2 on Seager. He went curveball and he got him. And Seager spikes the bat. And what you saw Joe West do when he put his finger up in the air, it's an equipment violation. In theory, that's a fine, not an ejection. Transparency by Papa John's. Use the code ROCKSWIN to get 50% off pizzas at papajohns.com for the next day. And by StubHub. Rockies fans, get your tickets at StubHub, official partner of the Colorado Rockies. Beautiful Sunday in the Pacific Northwest. The Rockies trying to sweep the Mariners. They're down 6-4 here in the top of the 8th inning. Noel Cuevas scheduled, but the right-hander, the former closer for Tampa, Alex Colome, is in the ball game. And so the Rockies are going to send up Raimel Tapia to pinch hit. And then it will be LeMahieu and Blackman. This is a big inning, as you see the combined numbers between Tampa and Seattle for COL AT SEA, because of the presence of Edwin Diaz in the 9th inning for Seattle. We've discussed that already. COL AT SEA has not been particularly sharp since moving from the southeast to the northwest.
Well, that's because he's in a different role. In Tampa, he was the closer. And I think some guys just feed off that adrenaline rush that they get. Not to say that they're not coming in and competing in the 8th inning, but I think for COL AT SEA, he's looking at this, well, I really enjoy closing, because in 2016, he was an all-star with Tampa Bay. Fastball 95, changeup 87, slider about 90.
And a called strike. Tapia 1 for 3 and a walk, couple runs scored in a start on Friday. Here's the 0-1 on Rymel. And it's 0-2. Here's 11 out of 13 in save opportunities with Tampa prior to the trade. Chris Rustin throwing for the Rockies. Two and two. COL AT SEA with Seattle, an ERA close to 5 in 16 ball games. He's blown a couple of holds. I don't say blown saves. It doesn't happen in 9th inning.
Yeah.
Gets a strikeout on Tapia.
You want to be at Coors Field to see the Rockies take on the Arizona Diamondbacks July 10th through the 12th. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday day game. Purchase your tickets at Rockies.com. The Diamondbacks again on this next homestand. The Seattle Mariners come in for the final 3 before the All-Star break.
Remember a couple weeks ago there was the conversation that, you know, it's a big, 10-day period for the Rockies. They were playing teams under 500, and the Rockies, played about 500 baseball. And then the same conversation recently, well, it's going to be a tough stretch because of the Rockies taking on San Francisco and LA and going to Seattle, and San Francisco again coming to town. And the Rockies, it's about how you play ultimately. I've always said that in baseball. It's not about the opponent, it's about how you play. Here's the 1-1 to DJ. So against, much better, at least record-wise, competition the last couple of weeks, the Rockies have been pitching very well. They've got timely hitting. Their defense has always been steady, and that's why they have won 8 of 9.
And I think a lot of it I attribute to that last game in San Francisco when DJ hit that home run. And I think the fortunes turned with that swing.
Well, it seems that way, doesn't it? 1-2, DJ trying to reach here in the 8th. Two and two. And the slider gets LeMahieu. Charlie will come up with 2 outs. Who wants tacos? Fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 in a game. Blackman a home run back in the first, fly ball to deep center, and he fouled out along the third base line of the catcher Freitas. Tomorrow's an off day for the Rockies. They'll have Arizona Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. And then the Mariners again at Coors Field prior to the All-Star break. Once a strike, 1-1.
Korbin. First time the Rockies will see Shelby Miller this year, and then Zach Godley on Thursday.
Godley has not been as good as last year. Miller
he's 0-3.
Has scuffled since coming back. 1-2 inside. And even Korbin. I mean, Corbin's outstanding. It's not, the number's not as glamorous as a year ago. But having said all that, Arizona is still in first place and still a very formidable team.
Well, the Rockies have only beaten once this year.
They have played exceptionally well, in particular in Denver. Rockies will have to change that around. 2-2. 3-2 on Charlie. Fouled straight back by Blackman. Nolan on deck. Were you able to hit with sunglasses?
No. I could field with them. I just didn't feel comfortable the way it was underneath the helmet with the glasses on.
Another 3-2. Colome comes in, strikes out the side in the 8th. 6-4 Seattle. Tuesday and Wednesday will be on the air at 6 with the pregame show. No television Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. the Mariners are in town. And you note it's a later start time on Saturday. It's a 6:30 pregame show, 7 o'clock ball game Saturday, Huey.
Yes, I knew that. You were just figuring that out right now.
I didn't realize that. Ramel Tapia, who pinch hit for Noel Cuevas, will stay in the ball game in center field. The new pitchers, Chris Russin for the Rockies, Denard Span, Ryan Healy, Guillermo Heredia in the bottom of the 8th inning for Seattle. They're up 6-4 on the 3-run home run by Healy in the 6th inning. He came against Senzatella.
Chris pitched Friday night an inning, gave up a hit, and the hit he gave up was a leadoff single to this man right here, Denard Span. And after that, that was it.
That pitch also called the ball. Here's a 2-0 to Span, way inside, 3-0. Pitch walk. That's not what he's looking to do.
First 10,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies Mariners game on July 13th will receive a Dinger foam hat courtesy of Xfinity.
So here's Healy. Seattle got him in a trade inside the AL West. You don't often see that inside a division. He came from Oakland. He's a Northwest kid. He's a product of the University of Oregon.
Yeah, teammates of one Tyler Anderson.
Anderson will open up that series on Tuesday night against Arizona. There's one on the first double play. 5-4-3. Retreating Nolan Arenado started it. Good looking DP from the Rockies.
Yes,
They're pretty good at that.
Yep. 93 times they've been good at it this year for the Rockies. 2 hopper. Nolan retreats, but that allows him to get in a better throwing position, give a good feed to DJ, and then the rest is history.
Two outs, nobody on. Guillermo Heredia, the center fielder, 0 for 3. Twice he's hit it on the ground to DJ. Off the plate, ball 1. So the Rockies will see Edwin Diaz in the 9th. They'll have Arenado, Story, and Desmond the first 3. Line drive. DJ couldn't snare it. Base hit. Freitas, strikeout, line out, ground out. And this will be a ground out. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies need to rally against Edwin Diaz in Seattle. They trail 6-4.
14th will receive a Nolan Arenado walk-off cycle bobblehead courtesy of King Supers. I hope the guys are right back in the studio with Edwin Diaz looking for his chance to put an L into another L in that column. But he has been tough. 75 strikeouts for Diaz in 46 innings. So he becomes just one of 2 pitchers in MLB history with 30+ saves and 70+ strikeouts prior to the All-Star break. The other guy, well, he had that great year in LA in 2003, Eric Gagne.
Yeah, in terms of first half saves, there's only one guy who's had more. And that's another guy who pitched in LA with the Angels. Frankie Rodriguez had 38 saves before the break on his way to a major league record 62. That was in 2008. This guy throws tremendously hard. That's fouled off. 24-year-old from Puerto Rico, 3rd-round pick a few years ago of the Mariners.
Well, I remember watching him when he kind of broke onto the scene in the WBC for Puerto Rico a few years ago. That's when you realize how special that right arm is.
Settle on a fastball again, and it misses up top 1-2. He has struck out almost half the hitters he's faced. 75, as Huey mentioned, 158 batters. Slider, 2-2.
Even the good ones, they give it up.
Find a way to win. That's exactly right. Nolan's one of the most comfortable guys I've ever seen hitting velocity. Really is.
Yeah. Well, the quickness of his bat allows him to be comfortable.
2-2. Slider, and he got him. 1 out. That's 4 straight strikeouts between Colomé and Diaz.
Well, that's just a great pitch, too, from Diaz. He's been throwing fastballs, and then he starts a slider out at the knees. It appears to be a fastball to Nolan. And then on the Subaru Supermo, the red dot of that baseball just diving and going underneath the barrel at Nolan.
Story lines his fouls. Trevor, infield hit in the 4th inning, and then a 2-run opposite field home run in the 6th to give the Rockies at the time a 4-3 lead. It was a temporary lead because in the bottom of the 6th inning, unfortunately, Antonio Senzatello would hang a breaking ball that Ryan Healy hit out with 2 aboard. Diaz ahead, 2 strikes on Story. That was in the zone, but called a ball. 1-2.
The way that Freitas caught that.
Kind of took it out of the zone for Joe
lunging.
West.
Wasn't well received.
Catcher wants to beat the baseball to the spot. It's hard when a guy's throwing almost 100. Of course, that works in theory.
Yeah, easier said than done.
When you think about the Mariners 26-11 in 1-run games, it's largely because of Diaz. It's a great job staying off that slider by Trevor. 2-2.
Even though he has 3 blown saves on the year, the Mariners are still 38-0 because they've won those games that he blew.
Two outs. Desmond will try to keep it alive for Cargo. One more note on the one-run saves. He has 21 run saves this year. Do you realize the major league record is 23?
I didn't realize that. 23.
Not at the All-Star break yet. Strike on Desmond. He's taken the whole way. Ground ball to short and a couple of fly balls, including one to the wall this afternoon for Desmond. Two strikes.
Up,
thinking that was the end of the ball game.
He struck out the first two guys on sliders. Does he go for a third one with the slider? Well, it looks like fastball up.
Way outside. 2-2. And now it's full. 3-2.
That's in.
Swing there by Desmond.
Real good pass.
Ian trying to win the battle here. Give Cargo one swing. Three and two. Called strike three by Joe West. And that ends the ball game. A slider that looked in. And the Mariners will end the Rockies' 5-game winning streak. A 6-4 final. But the Rockies still win the series. Taking 2 out of 3 here in Seattle. They'll get a day off tomorrow and head home to begin a very important 3-game set against Arizona. Wade LeBlanc gets the win. He's 5-0. Antonio Senzatella takes the loss. He's 3-2. And Diaz now with 35 first-half saves for Seattle. That's 6 in a row, ending via strikeout for the Rockies against that good back end of Colomé and Diaz for Seattle. So once again, the final score, Seattle wins this afternoon at home at Safeco 6-4 over the Rockies. Let's get it to Jenny back in Denver. Jenny?